Hi, all of you new Mountaineers. From the folks at the Student Learning Center, we'd like to welcome you to campus and help you get started off on the right foot to be a successful mountaineer. One of the first things that you can do whenever you get started is to set some goals for yourself. Individuals that don't have a clear set of defined goals tend to struggle because it kind of leaves you without a rudder. And so you kind of drift. If you have a goal, this gives you kind of an endpoint. It gives you something to focus on. It gives you something to work towards. So what I want you to do is just take a moment whenever you have some free time over the next week or two, just sit down and say, why am I here? What do I want to get out of college? I mean, yes, what do you want to get? Yeah, sure. You want high GPA. You want to pass your classes. You want to, things like that. But no, go even further than that. What do you want to get out of college? What are your alternatives if you weren't here? What would be something different about your life if you weren't here? What is your end goal? What do you want your life to be like? That sort of thing. So think beyond that, get a job or get good grades or things like that. What does being in college mean to you, and how can you work to achieve that? So now that you've got your goals set, you want to make a plan. What will you do to achieve those goals? I can remember very vividly looking at my schedule whenever I first got on campus as a freshman and seeing all that space on the page, seeing all those places that I didn't have a class, that I had what I thought was free time. Well, I'm here to tell you that the free time that you think you have is actually an illusion. There is work that needs to be done outside of class in order to be successful. So whenever you are looking at your schedule, one thing that we have on our website is a weekly planner, and you can set one of those up and you can say, okay, so here's my class schedule. Here is, if you have a job, if you have, a work schedule, if you've got club meetings, if you've got whatever you have on there that's regularly occurring, you want to place that on your schedule. And then you look at the blank places and you say, okay, so when am I going to take care of myself? When will I make time for eating? Eating is pretty important. Sleep is also really important. So you want to make sure that you are giving yourself permission to clock out at the end of the day. You want to set up those times for self-care, for exercise, anything like that. And then after that, you've got some more blank spaces. And where those spaces are, you want to try to stagger some regular study times. And this is not just study like studying for a test. This is any time that you can spend working on your class work. So any kind of academic work. So tutoring counts, meeting with your professor counts, meeting with the study group counts, all of that counts in that hour. So you are supposed to be studying or working on your academics outside of class. For every hour you're in class, you should be dedicating about 2 to 3 hours outside of class, depending on your course load. So that does mean if you're taking 15 hours right now, that means that you've got 30 hours outside of class that you want to be working on your academics. That sounds like a lot, but that's the reason why you're considered a full-time student, because this is a full-time job and it does require your efforts to work on that. And there's always something that can be done, whether it's reviewing notes or reading ahead of the teacher in your class. All of those kinds of things add up, and keep those times small. You want to keep the study times, these blocks of time that you're setting aside to get your academics done, to maybe 1 to 2 hours. And even if you've got like a little 30-minute window in between classes, take advantage of that. That time adds up over time, and it's painless. 30 minutes is painless. So think about that whenever you are setting up your schedule. The next thing is for you to really understand the expectations. High schooling and colleging, yes, those are both verbs, are very different. And so you want to make sure that you know what is expected of you in each and every class. Every class is going to be different. Every semester is going to be different. So you want to make sure that you are really focusing in on what it says on the syllabus. Whenever you get that in that first week of classes, you want to make sure that you are very clear on what those expectations are so that you can increase your chances of success in the long run. Go to class. This sounds like, it's a no-brainer, but this is something that students really struggle with. There is a direct correlation with grades and attendance in class. Like I said, it should be a no-brainer, but it's difficult. So even if there's no attendance policy, which you'll have some professors who it's not a big deal to them, but it is your job to be a student, and so you need to attend class because you never know what you're going to miss. You miss a lot of just details, those backstories. You may miss new content that's not discussed on the syllabus. You may miss any kind of thing like, oh, well, we're going to have this test today, but it's only covering these chapters instead of this extra chapter because we got behind in class. You want to have all of that information going in. So make sure that you show up, go to class, unless you are really, really sick. Just be there, be present. Another thing that you want to make sure you are doing is really trying to find a way to get connected. Research does show that students who get connected with a variety of extracurricular activities tend to be more successful academically, tend to persist through graduation. Just try to find some things that interest you. There are hundreds of clubs on this campus that meet a variety of needs and interests, and so take advantage of that. You will never have this kind of opportunity in your life again. So right now you are literally surrounded by opportunities. So take advantage of that and join up, find some people that, find your people. Your people are on this campus, but sometimes you have to search for them a little bit. So go and find those people that are interested in some of the same things you are, and make the most of your time here. The next thing is so important is to take breaks. We are not here to tell you that you need to be going 100 miles an hour forever and ever, amen, to be successful in college. Breaks are vital. We are not able to stay focused 100% of the time, all the time. And I think we probably all know that. One thing to consider is that whenever you are setting up some of those study blocks that we talked about earlier, you want to plan in breaks. So I'm talking not just a break in the day, like one. I'm talking about within those study sessions, taking 5 to 10 minutes every 30 minutes or so to take a break and just kind of give your brain a break. Is invaluable. That's going to keep you fresh. That's going to allow you to be focused. Our brains are not created to handle sustained attention for long periods of time. That's why you drift off, maybe about this time in the presentation. I don't know. You might be drifting already. But the average attention span for a college-age student is somewhere around your age plus 1 in minutes. And so that means that probably about 18 to 20 minutes, you can expect to stay really good and focused, and then you're going to start struggling a little bit. Now, there's outliers on both ends of the spectrum, and but this is just a ballpark. So think about that. And make a plan for that. So know that your brain that's just the way it's wired, and it's okay. We work with what we've got, and so understand that going in, plan those breaks. The next thing you want to do is you want to make sure that you are meeting your deadlines, all of your deadlines. So whether it is a deadline for a paper that's due, or for a forum post that you need to post to, or if you've got a job later on, you want to start practicing now to meet those deadlines. So one strategy that I strongly encourage you to use is, as soon as you get your syllabi from all of your classes, go ahead and take all of the information that you have from that, all of the deadlines and due dates, including readings, and put it in a planner. If you use a virtual planner, that's fine. If you use a paper planner, that's fine. It's whatever meets your needs, whatever you prefer. And find those deadlines, make sure you are meeting those deadlines. As an instructor, I can tell you that one of the biggest frustrations I hear and experience is the trickle effect that happens after a deadline is passed. So we'll have a mass amount of papers or projects or whatever the assignment is completed on time, but then we have this trickle of late students. And as that trickle happens, it can be very frustrating, because then that means that the instructor has to go back into the assignment and then grade based on that. If they accept it, you don't even know. So you're going to want to be aware of that. That's back to those know your expectations. You want to be aware of what your professor expects and whether they will accept late work. All of that sort of thing. So make sure you're meeting your deadlines. So get those deadlines on a calendar and go ahead and make your best effort. Now, sometimes things happen. Life happens, Corona happens, whatever happens, happens. But for the most part, you want to make sure you are meeting all of your deadlines and then communicating with your professor if something comes up. Now, this one is a hard one for college-age students. You guys are in a very independent stage of your life. You're finally away from mom and dad, and you're kind of on your own for the first time. You're figuring some things out, and you want to do it all on your own. Well, I'm here to tell you that, nobody gets through life alone. So we all need support. We all need our support network. We all need assistance occasionally. Nobody knows everything. Think about how boring life would be if we knew everything. So you want to make sure that you get comfortable asking for help. So maybe right now, think to a class that maybe you're a little concerned about that's on your schedule, or maybe you know is going to be coming next semester that you're a little concerned about. So maybe it's a chemistry class, or it's a math class, or something like that. Whatever it is, just know that you are surrounded by support systems. For instance, say you have a paper that's coming up. You're struggling with trying to get the topic down or to figure out how to organize the paper or something along those lines. We have a wonderful place called the Writing Center. In the Writing Center, you can go in and set up an appointment, and you can talk about the writing at any stage of the process. So it could be the day that you get the assignment. You can go in there and they can help you start formulating how you want to organize it. It can be at a stage that maybe you get stuck. You have writer's block. You can go in there and ask for help. You can go in there once a day if you need to get some assistance on this. Use that resource. Another one would be if you're taking a chemistry class. Be on the lookout for hearing about your lead tutor. Your lead tutor is a tutor that's hired to come in and works with that professor. They sit in that class. They take notes on what's going on in that section of the class, and then they hold 2 study sessions a week on chemistry. Chemistry is notorious on this campus, so you want to take advantage of that resource. The Student Learning Center is also here. We have stuff on information like this video that is being presented to you today. We also have tutoring for content. We also have peer academic coaching to help you with if you've recognized that maybe you need an accountability buddy, or you need somebody that's going to help you kind of figure out how to get a plan of attack. Any of those sorts of things can be helpful for you. So use your resources. Another resource, and this might be a scary resource, okay, but it is okay, is your professor. Get to know your professors. Getting to know your professors is huge. You want to make sure that you are meeting with them, like go to their office hours. The office hours are wildly underutilized, and so definitely go and take a second just to introduce yourself, or if you have questions or if there's a concern. Don't wait until like the last week of class to introduce yourself to the professor, especially if at that last week of class you're asking for reconsideration of a grade or things like that. Make sure that you are being proactive. So what this does for you is it helps paint you in a positive light. It helps your professors see that you're interested and you're engaged with the material, that you you want to do well, that you're a serious student. And that goes a long way with your professors. You want to think about this, whoever your professor is, even if it's in like the class that you hate the most, think about it, put yourself in their shoes. They have dedicated so many years of their lives to the study of that subject. So they are passionate about that subject. They know a lot. They've spent a lot of their time really focused on this subject. So they're the experts in that area. You want to take advantage of that. When else are you going to be able to go and speak to experts? Are you aware that most of your professors have published? They've published articles or books or textbooks, varieties of things that really helps highlight their expertise. So think about that. You have this amazing resource at your fingertips that you are gained access to by being a college student. So take advantage of that. Set up those relationships. Go ahead and start early. Visit them often. Be an engaged student in class. Show them that you care about their content. And, a lot of times what happens building these relationships early on can help with writing recommendation letters later on in life. So think about that. So you want to really work on being intentional with cultivating those relationships. Recognize that mistakes happen. They just do. They do. Everybody's going to mess up. We are human beings, and what we have to do is work on getting away from that fear of failure and recognize that failure is an opportunity to learn. Think about something that when you messed up one time, something that, kind of stands out to you right now. What did you learn from that situation? Was it a valuable learning opportunity? Chances are it was. So think about that and don't hold back. You want to give yourself the opportunity. Failure is a great teacher. And it doesn't define us. Failure does not define us. It's what we do with that information that defines us. So learn the material, learn from your mistakes, learn what you can do and how you can improve. See where you are, because right now, I will tell you right now, you are going to be a vastly different human being when you graduate than coming in. And that's an exciting thing. Change is exciting. Learning is exciting. Get that in, think about that. And, go in and with reckless abandon. Okay, so just be ready to learn, be ready to mess up, be ready to learn from those mess ups, and, expect it. And it's okay. It is okay. Another thing you'll need to do is you're going to take notes. I hope this is a no-brainer, but taking notes is something that a lot of students never had to do in high school. The responsibilities have shifted a little bit though, so as a college student, where in high school you might have had time in class to do reviews, you may have had time in class to do your homework and all of that sort of thing. If you look at your schedule right now, you're not going to be in class as much as you were in high school. And so you're not going to have that time built into your class schedule to be able to take advantage of and to, keep up to date with all of your assignments. So you want to take notes in class. And then the big thing is you want to review your notes. This is a big thing. So you want to, within 24 hours, look over the notes and fill in any blanks, fill in any kind of things that, if there were any kind of times that maybe you dropped off mid-sentence and because the professor changed tack, whatever it is. So you want to take that time to fill in any missing blanks. If you've got questions that aren't answered in the notes, then you want to maybe look to the book and see if you can fill in that information, or you can write down a question that you can ask at the beginning of next class. And remember, you're wanting to paint yourself in a positive light with your professor, so if you ask questions in class, that's an automatic good. All right, so it shows that you are concerned and you care about the class and the content. But also within that 24 hours, this also prevents there's a recency effect, and that's the psychology term, but so it just helps you stay on top of things, solidify that information, see it once more, and without getting it mixed in with other information. So you're able to kind of really good, solidly file it away where it needs to go in your brain. Then you want to review these notes regularly. So look at them, once every few days, once a week, definitely. Do all of that. And then what happens is over time, you're really starting to solidify that information in your brain so you can find it later on during, say, a test. And it helps you prevent that need to cram at the end. And what happens is if you look at this over time, your retention of that material lasts a lot longer, so you could graduate with a degree and knowledge. So by cramming, you're basically just stuffing all of that stuff in your brain and spitting it out on the test and never to see or think about it ever again. By doing this little spaced practice over time, you are able to really solidify that knowledge and have a good base foundation of information in your brain already stored away. So take advantage of that. College is also a time for you to explore. Not just explore Boone, although I do encourage you to do so because Boone is amazing, but explore yourself. You want to try new things. If there's something that's interesting to you, go ahead and, and take advantage of the opportunity to try it out. It may be that you're interested in, oh, wow, what is fencing? Well, we have a PE class on that. Or, wow, a kayak, that sounds cool. So go rent a kayak and go down the New River. Those kinds of things are available to you. So take advantage, explore, get out of your comfort zone a little bit. Every time you're out of your comfort zone, you're learning, you're growing. So take advantage of that. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable. You are never going to get another opportunity like this. So I encourage you to take advantage of all of those opportunities. And with that, I would like to encourage you all to try to visit our services, come and visit our offices once we're back on campus fully. We are on the second floor of D.D. Dougherty, which is right next to Ann Belk Hall and the library. Come see us. This is where you'll find tutoring. Our website will have resources to academic support resources. So you've got your weekly plan that I mentioned earlier, a variety of information like that. I wish you all the best. Good luck. Have so much fun learning about yourself and exploring and getting your feet wet. Good luck.